Yeah, slacker.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
you should be seeing a live on your screen now, so give it a few seconds here to register.
Yeah, slacker.
That's
Okay, you should be seeing a live on your screen now, so give it a few seconds here to
Yeah, slacker.
register.
That's
Okay, you should be.
Scott, are you in charge of the recording as well?
Well, it's going on YouTube, so it will be recorded there.
We're not going to Zoom record it?
No point. I can download the YouTube.
Okay.
Scott, are you in charge of the recording as well? Well, it's going on YouTube, so it will be recorded there.
We're not in charge of the recording as well?
On YouTube, so it will be recorded there.
We're not going to
Hey, Scott, we're hearing everything back on a delay from you, and it looks like the
Okay.
link on the district website still isn't working.
The YouTube link?
Yeah,
It's working. I'm watching it now.
is this link just bad then?
If it shows as blank, just there should be a click to view on YouTube.
Yes. There
All
we
right,
go.
break in. I just want to see, can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear, Ralph.
All right, just want to make sure I got a radio check for later on. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, I have 0900. And I am going to officially open the 9th Western Region Fall Board Meeting. Welcome, everyone. I'm Commodore Harvey Randall, and I appreciate everybody's participation today. It is a Saturday, and I know you guys have lots of other things you could be doing today. But thank you for coming. We are having our third and final scheduled board meeting for the year. And we'll start with, we'll start with a little housekeeping. So I also want to put a special welcome out there to the YouTubers who are joining us. All of these members have access to the proceedings. Obviously, you can't speak or participate, but this is a leg up over what would happen if we were meeting in person at the hotel. We have a lot more access for a lot more people. In addition to that, we have the advantage of electronic recording. So if you're not able to join us today, if some of your members wanted to be here but couldn't, please let them know. They will have access at some point here when we post the recordings. Now, a little bit of tech housekeeping. My tech advisors are saying, please, for the sake of bandwidth, everyone mute your mics and turn off your cameras unless you are speaking. And that should make things go a little smoother without the internet giving us trouble today. One other thing I want to remind you guys of is that all of the documents that are related to the agenda items that we're going to be discussing today will be posted. Most have been, but there will be continued postings on our OneDrive account under the October 2021 board meeting folder. So you can access that, but keep in mind that you have to log into the member zone. That is protected information behind our firewall. With that, I'm going to ask Doc Buck to lead us in the pledge.
If you will join me silently or speaking yourselves. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And as long as you have the floor, please lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, sir. Please join me. Eternal Father, thank you for the blessings of this day and for the privilege of meaningful service. We ask your blessings on each person present and for those shipmates who are not able to join us in this board meeting. We are most grateful for those who have prepared so well for this meeting and for all of the training classes available to us all week long. Today and always, allow us to work in harmony with each other and treat each other with dignity and respect. We thank you for each person who is in a leadership role and trust that their planning and preparedness not only advances our mission, but also does so in ways that are blessings for those who serve. Bless our meeting today so that we may use all that you have given us as talent and energy, so we may do well as we use the time available. We ask your blessings on our nation, not so that it becomes our servant, but so we become your servants. May all glory and honor be yours, Eternal Father. Amen.
Thank you, Tom. At this point, we will do the roll call. This will be the first of two roll calls. We do one to just confirm that we have a quorum, and then we'll do another one after the break later on in the meeting. So, Pam Jarka, would you please take us through the roll call?
Yes, sir. Good morning. District 95 Commodore Harvey Randall.
Present.
District 95 Chief of Staff Sonny Thatch.
Present.
District 95 Immediate Past Commodore and Deputy National Commodore for Atlantic West Tom Mullally.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain East Rob Kumpf.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain South Tim Derry.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain West Peter Gabinski.
Here.
Division 31. I believe someone is filling in for Rick Hamilton. Sorry, we'll get back to you. Division 33 Commander Jen Austin.
Present.
Thank you. Division 35 Commander J.R. Kulik.
Present.
Thank you. Division 37 Commander Craig Feldy.
Present.
Thank you. Division 39 Commander Sean Landa.
Present.
Thank you. Division 41 Commander Tim Cooper.
Present.
Thank you. Division 43 Commander Thomas Matt.
Present.
Thank you. Division 45 Commander Dave Rappy.
Dave will be on presently. I just sent him the link, so he should be here just in a minute or so.
Thank you very much. I'll put down not yet. Division 47 Commander William Meehee.
I'm here, thank you.
Thank you. Did someone from Division 31, either the Vice Commander or the Commander appear?
Dan should be logging on here momentarily. In the meantime, I guess I'm here as immediate past.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. So far, just missing one, sir.
Very good. DSO LP, can you confirm a quorum, please?
I can confirm that we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I'll introduce a few of the guests, and the way I'll do this is just simply scanning through the participant list. And I'm looking for the anyone who is not a member, not an auxiliary member of 9th Western. So let me start. I see NACO, Commodore Alex Maluski.
Morning.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Lieutenant Amber Naprala, who is our Oxlow for Sector Lake, Michigan. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Commodore.
And let's see, we have Commander Gibson, our director.
Morning, Kyle.
Welcome, sir.
Good
Let's
morning.
see. Good morning. Captain Montoro is here. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
And Deputy Commander Doreen McCarthy is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Vice NACO Commodore Gus Formato, thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let's see. Lieutenant David Cooper. Lieutenant is the aide to our district commander. Good
Morning,
morning,
Commodore.
Lieutenant.
Morning.
Let's see. And of course, Rear Admiral Michael Johnston, our district commander. Thank you, sir, for coming on board this morning.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's see. Who else do we have here?
Commodore Reagan is Assistant Dyrox Kugel.
Ah, yes. I forgot. That's Ralph.
Thank you. Good to see y'all.
For those who don't know, Reagan is his daughter. Okay. Did I miss anybody?
Commander Rappy is now with us.
Very good. Morning, Dave. Okay. So thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. As I said earlier, Saturday mornings can be tough, and we have already had a number of cancellations and issues that have popped up. But we're going to go through this, and my goal is to get us out of here on time. We have a fairly packed agenda, and we're going to go right into the opening session with the next item on the agenda, which is our remembrance ceremony. And this is where we take the time out to say, let's think about our dearly departed shipmates. And these will be the ones that have left us since our last board meeting, which was in March. So I'll turn that over now to John McDonald.
Thank you, Commodore. This morning, we are recognizing members who have crossed the bar. Crossing the bar refers to the death of a mariner. The phrase has its origin in the fact that most rivers and bays develop a sandbar across the entrances, and crossing the bar is meant leaving the safety of harbor into the unknown. So those who have crossed the bar, it's a longer list than we had in the spring. From 47-1, William Greb. From 33-2, James Bolin. From 31-6, Kim Lamb. From 33-2, Larry Zering. From 41-11, Joseph Grandolfo. From 31-6, Charles Hagerman. From 41-11, Alan Janetka. Also from 41-11, Joseph Kopowetsky. From 47-2, Roger Van Callister. From 35-12, John Laurie. From 35-9, William Vihi. Also from 35-9, Thomas King. From 39-10, Peter O'Malley. From 41-5, Joseph Gilbert. That is the end of the list, Commodore.
Thank you very much, John. There have been a number of last minute changes, as I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, Captain Glendy, who is our chief director of the auxiliary, could not join us due to a conflict. And although Commodore Maluski was with us earlier, he may have to leave before we have the opportunity to have him speak. So we were grateful that Vice NACO Commodore Gus Formato is here to deliver a few remarks from National. All of our guest speakers' bios are included on the district's OneDrive account in that folder for the meeting today. So we're not going to be reading bios in the interest of saving time because we do, as I said, have a packed agenda. I would much rather devote time to listening to what our distinguished guests have to say to us. So please check the OneDrive, browse it, look through it. You will find everything there. You'll find the bios for our guest speakers. You'll find the reports from our officers and lots more. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our district commander, Rear Admiral Michael Johnston. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Commodore, and it is always a pleasure to see you. We had a good time in Grand Haven, and my wife is still planning an opportunity to come and visit you and check out this fish fry or whatever it is you were talking about. So we will see how that turns out. But
yes.
But no, it's really a pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity. And let me thank John McDonald for that remembrance. Also, the executive committee and the D-Train planning committee that coordinate all this stuff. These virtual events, not optimal, but still an opportunity, right? To really connect and learn and train and stay on the same page. And so thank you for the effort that it takes. I tell you, we certainly haven't mastered it, but you guys seem to be doing a little bit better than us as far as setting these things up. So I might have to lean on you for that. Sonny, Chief of Staff there. Hey, I look forward to meeting you next time I'm in Chicago. But thank you for all your work in pulling all this together. For Don and Doreen and Tom and the rest of you guys. Hey, thanks for dialing in and joining. Let me just say this, that I've traveled, I think, around 95% of the district at this point, visiting stations and air stations and sectors. And let me just give you my overall view is that I've never, ever done a tour in D9 until now. And I am just impressed and humbled by the things that I've seen. The integration of the auxiliary at the sectors and the stations has been impressive. And I personally flew with some aux air guys and ate in some aux run galleys and got underway on some aux boats facilities, and the professionalism, the skill, the talent, just incredibly impressive. And this selfless service mindset, really the cornerstone, I think, that makes our organization great and our partners, the auxiliary as well. And so I want to thank you guys for all that you're doing. It's really heartwarming. We had Vice Admiral Poulin with us last week, and we toured him along the district as well. And I would tell you that he never did a tour in D9 either. And I'm getting hugs and warm letters, emails from him, just how truly impressed he was as well. And we do all this, with your help. I just sent him a summary of sort of the D9 stats. It was over 2,000 SAR cases, over 4,000 lives saved or assisted. And then I looked at the D9 West stats, over 3,000 patrol hours and 31,000 inspections and 72,000 volunteer hours. 72,000 volunteer hours. When you try to explain that to other organizations, I'll tell you that they are often mystified that we can garner such a huge amount of work from people who are just incredible human beings. On the downside, we had 91 deaths. And so, every morning when we look at those and we review those tragic incidents, sometimes we couldn't have done anything, but I had a long talk with our public affairs team last week because at the end of the day, a lot of times those things could have been prevented. Could have been prevented with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of care. We have sort of this groundswell, I think, based on the COVID isolation and then low interest rates that really have increased the amount of people on the water buying boats and perhaps hasn't increased the amount of skill with that same group. And so that, I think, we talked a lot with the public affairs guys. That is a vector that we should put some energy, if you will, and the Auks, better than anybody else, are a powerful arm in that fight. So I appreciate all that you guys do, and I'm glad that you guys are back. Sort of. I know it was sort of a slow period when we first started COVID. I think we get our arms around this now, and educating the boater, especially as we transition over to the hard water. I mean, planning for that and taking our time and getting ready to really be ready for what's to come, I think, is incredibly important. I've been going around visiting all of the units. I just now wrote down the guiding principles that I've been sharing as I've been walking around. But I've been walking around, sort of getting everybody's input and making sure that what we were putting on paper made sense. And so we had a district senior leadership council meeting, a conference a couple of weeks ago, and we went over the 4 Ps after traveling all around, and Commodore Slaybar was the Auks rep that came, and we had great conversations, I think. And here's what I will. I think we finally got to a point where we put it down on paper, and I just signed it Friday before I got before we left for the day. And it's the 4 Ps are people, progress, people, practice, performance, and progress. People, practice, performance, and progress. And as I think about all of those, I sat down specifically with Auxiliary and Reserve to make sure that they also were applicable and appropriate. And I believe so. And so for people, clearly we're talking about, our greatest asset. And, the Coast Guard, we're in this odd position where in a couple of years, we may not have enough people. And so really valuing and making sure that everybody understands how important they are to the team is a critical piece. But then I look at the auxiliary and I know, we need to constantly be bolstering our ranks, and we need to constantly be retaining our people because, you guys spend a lot of time training and becoming skill set. I mean, when I went on board the Coast Guard facility, everything was just like on a Coast Guard cutter, the comms, the procedures we even had something that, the lookout, and they found some stuff floating and we pulled that up. And just everything was just so professional. And so what I also found was the best recruiters and retainers for auxiliary or auxiliary. So half my neighbors in this neighborhood are auxiliary. And I ask every single one, how did you join the auxiliary? And it was always somebody else who was an auxiliary talked them into it. And so I don't know if that's one of your sort of things that you're focusing on, but I would ask if you find somebody that has a desire to help, open a door for them and lean into recruitment. Practice, I think, is self-explanatory, and I have a lot of tales of times when I didn't practice and things went awry. So we won't go for those since you're taping on YouTube. But but I would tell you that the professionalism that I've seen, that is due to practice and drills and it takes time, it takes effort. but it pays incredible dividends and it keeps us safe. And then performance, of course, is, just value in the mission and understanding how important it is. And I always talk to the troops when I talk to them about, here we have people who are volunteering to join this mission because they know how important it is. And I tell them, lean on you guys because you have lived some lives, right? You have experienced some stuff, and especially at the stations where there's a lot of junior people, there's a lot of advice and counsel to be had. And so I encourage you to share, and then I use you always as an example of somebody who understands the importance of the mission, and then finally progress, and that is personal and professional growth. And again, I think being intentional about professional and personal growth is sort of one of our guiding principles that we need to focus on. I think we do pretty good about professional growth. We set milestones, we set standards, we hold people accountable to that. But personal growth and building that resiliency and adding to your toolkit, the ability to manage stress and unfortunate circumstances, because inevitably they come. I think the best way to do that is for people to share when they've had things in their life and how they got through them, and then people begin to not only be closer and bond, but also garner those skill sets themselves, or understand that they're important, again, seek them out. So anyway, the 4 Ps is what I've been focusing on, and more details in the guiding principles that I've sent out and signed officially. So hopefully you all got them. But at the end of the day, you all have been amazing, and I thank you for all that you do, and I hope that this collection of talents that spans such a wide array. So we're going to a risk conference next week, and we're laying out the risks for a land area, and then 2 weeks after that, or a week after that, we're going to the Senior Executive Leadership Conference, which is all the flags and SESs and the Commodores and CMCs. The Commodore brings us all in. We talk about the Coast Guard risks and what we're doing about them. And so, I'm presenting a couple of things that I think are a challenge, and one of them is the tremendous amount of collateral duties that we have put on some of our junior folks at the stations and on the cutters as well, that are even outside of their rate, and we're looking for ways to help there, maybe to improve the training, or maybe to move some of those collateral duties to somewhere they can absorb their work a little better, so that people can focus on the primary mission. And here's what I would offer: that the incredible amount of talents that the auxiliary bring to the table may be another avenue. And so, public affairs, we have a lot of desire to get, imagery and capture some moments, and then download that stuff and send that information up. And I would tell you that the BM2, after boarding for 6 or 7 hours and then doing all his paperwork when he gets home, I feel bad about asking him to download, to spend 10 hours on something that he has no knowledge about how to do, and send that information up. But maybe somebody else can jump in there and grab the GoPro and help out there. And that's just one of many that tweaked my mind about maybe you all can help. And so again, everywhere I've gone, I've seen I think a great integration of the auxiliary with the Coast Guard units, and where there has been best demonstrated, the performance is just off the charts. And so I hope that is consistent throughout the AOR. Certainly, I'm trying to get out there to see firsthand, but I'm here for really in a listening mode. So don't want to spend most of this time talking, but I want to give you here's sort of the guiding principles that I'm sending out there. Here's what I've seen so far. We have a lot of opportunity coming up with the risk conference and with the SCLC at headquarters to bring up issues. And so with that, I think I just want to turn it back over to the facilitator here and offer you an opportunity to share and bring up any issues that you have, or that you want to talk about, or questions that you might have for me that if I don't know, I'll go find out. And so with that, I'll let it go.
Thank you so much, Admiral. So you were interested in a few questions from the board then? If I, okay.
Absolutely.
So we have our board here, we have our staff, and obviously the other honored guests. Does anyone have a question for the Admiral? We can probably take one or two. Anyone raising their hand or?
I got my pen out. I'm ready.
All right. Going once, going twice. It's not often we get to see the district commander. Okay, we'll let it go then.
This is Gail Sudlock.
Oh, hi, Gail.
Hi, 3105. I don't have a question, but I do want to say thank you very much for taking a personal interest in us as Coast Guard auxiliaries. That is so important for the camaraderie amongst the auxiliaries. So thank you, sir, for spending so much time doing that.
Well, thank you, Gail. Again, I am just incredibly impressed and grateful. And before I came here, when I was in D7, and we had around 2,000 auxiliaries down there, and I would say we couldn't do the mission without it. And then I go up here and I see that is more of the same, just incredibly powerful. And then the one piece that this boating safety thing is this opportunity for your help there is sort of a forefront of our primary engagement. So again, thank you all. And Harvey, hey, thanks for inviting me. And again, my line is always open to you guys if you need anything or want anything. And with that, I'll turn it back over. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Admiral, and we appreciate your time today and your kind words and definitely your leadership. Looking forward to some great things under your tour as district commander.
Harvey, this is Shelley Markle. Can I ask the Rear Admiral a question?
Yes, go ahead, Shelley. Shelley is our public affairs staff officer.
So I'd like to echo Gail's comments, and we appreciate your coming, and it's great to see you and see you part of our coming to our events and being able to meet and greet and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things we're seeing, obviously, over the last year and a half with that pandemic thing that we try to keep ignoring, is a real variation in sort of policy across the district, and in terms of assignment to duty and what's acceptable, and completely understand that has everything to do with sort of what's going on at the local level, and just wanted to know if you had any insight on when you think things might start to, and I realize this is sort of crystal balling, but when things might start to sort of be a bit more of a district-wide
I will, but I'll wait till you get closer, because if I do it now.
and begin shifting to something that's a bit more district-wide and less localized.
Huh?
Hey, great question, Shelley. And I echo your frustration. I would offer with varying of some of the execution of policies, because of regional oddities, right? So that is a challenge. But again, I think that's why we lean on leaders at all levels to manage that as best we can. And it is a tough one. I think we're in a position now, though, that we're sort of at the edge of a transformation. And so I think we're over 90% or close to it for Coast Guard active duty vaccinations. And I think when we probably by the end of November, early December, we'll be at the point where we'll know where we are, and that'll be a time to readdress sort of the policies on what we're going to do at our facilities based on that. But here's what I would offer. And I was talking to the guys the other day. So for New Year's, it's commonly accepted that people do these New Year's resolutions, right? And we usually take them on with vigor and energy, right? And we're all excited about the opportunities that it could hold, and the chance to grow and be better and change. And it's just interesting that when change is thrust upon us, we see it such more in a negative fashion than when we decide to do it on. And so I think we're just trying to focus on looking at change, because it's probably the only thing that's definite these days. As we do New Year's resolution and say, hey, we're gonna tackle this change in as positive a manner as we can. We're gonna lean forward and look for the light at the end of the tunnel. And so January and February, the gyms are full, and then people are getting the weighing off. But we're going to keep January and February in our hearts for a little bit, because I will tell you that change is probably the only thing that I can promise you at this point.
Very good, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for the questions. So we're going to move on at this point. Admiral, next time you're in Milwaukee, we'll do that Wisconsin fish fry. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Take care and have a great day, sir.
Thanks.
Okay. Our next speaker is the sector commander for Sector Lake Michigan, Captain Donald Montoro. Captain, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Thank you, Harvey. And thank you all of our auxiliary leaders for being here with the team today to discuss all the great work that you do. Just wanted to give you some brief insights into what the sector has been working with and working on, and the important work that the auxiliary is playing in ensuring that we meet our mission requirements. As the Admiral mentioned, we've seen an incredible increase in the number of boats on the water and boating activity. From that, we were able to break into the top 3 search and rescue sectors in the Coast Guard. We're actually now ranked 3rd for this year. We had over 264 lives that were saved and 1,100 lives assisted, which is really quite a significant increase from the year before. Unfortunately, several lives lost in areas where we just couldn't get to the members in time. Just recently, last weekend, we had a 18-year-old female who passed away after drowning in Muskegon, and it just brings to light how truly dangerous the lakes are, and how incredibly important it is for have people like yourselves discussing water safety and boating safety, and ensuring that we get the word out and educate the boating community. Obviously, we're moving into the period of the year where people start to get onto the lakes when the ice forms and they start to fish. Obviously, we made national news last year with 2 mass rescue operations involving Traverse City and many of our port partners. One of those events up in Green Bay, they actually were both up in Green Bay, but ended up saving over 60 lives. And it was pretty impressive. So we're gonna exercise that this month, recognizing that there's a significant possibility that this will happen again. So one of the things we've learned is how important the incident command system and IMT, the incident management teams, are in mobilizing to ensure that we are engaging with the right people and providing the right assets and setting the right objectives. Obviously the auxiliary has played a role in the incident management team construct for decades now, and we're going to continue to rely on you to assist us in that endeavor. We've also seen an uptick in the number of incidents that have occurred on vessels, commercial vessels that are engaged in winter layup. So as you know, that there's a significant percentage of the merchant traffic that lays up in January and February and into early March. And we've actually had 3 major fires on these winter layup vessels. And we've identified some areas where we could potentially improve the standards and the guidance that we provide to these vessels that lay up. So we initiated a winter layup working group, and we're going to be working with the district and the commandant's staff to provide better guidance to our vessels that lay up in places like Sturgeon Bay and down in Indiana. So that's obviously something, again, that we rely on the auxiliary to assist us with, and getting out the word to industry on how to ensure that their vessels are safe when they're dockside. Sector Lake Michigan has been on the front lines. We've mobilized for 6 major events this year. And one of the things that we're realizing is that the Coast Guard is really the agency of choice in the federal government to bring order to chaos, from chaos, when we look at these national security level incidents. The Southwest border has been going on for some time. When I was down in San Diego as the deputy, we had the caravan of over 10,000 migrants from Central America, and really a human disaster, and really our hearts go out. And one of the things that I realized there and here as the sector commander is the Coast Guard really provides that humanitarian element at these detention centers, really with a warm smile and providing food and comfort to these individuals in really dire situations. So we continue to send people to the Southwest border from Sector Lake Michigan to assist in that initiative. Kind of in the same vein, we were asked to provide assistance to the Afghan refugee crisis. Obviously, you saw more than 100,000 refugees are coming into the country from Afghanistan. One of the facilities that has received those Afghan refugees is here in Wisconsin, and so we've sent multiple members there to assist in that process. And again, utilizing the incident management team construct has been incredibly important. We've sent members to the maritime boundary line in San Diego, law enforcement officers. They were in dire need. They've seen a uptick of over 250% in migrant crossings on the maritime side down in San Diego. So they asked us for some assistance, and we provided them with additional law enforcement personnel to help in that front. And then lastly, hurricane mobilizations. Obviously, that's not something that's going to go away anytime soon. We're going to continue to see, with climate change, we're going to see increased activity and energy in that area. And so the Coast Guard will continue to be relevant in responding and providing our assistance and expertise. So a lot of Sector Lake Michigan activity outside the fence lines of Sector Lake Michigan, providing our relevance and ensuring we can support national security missions. One of the areas where the Commandant has demonstrated some really increased focus, and I think this is the right course, is the cybersecurity initiatives that he's taken on. If you hadn't had an opportunity to take a look at his update to his strategy that was put out in 2016, it's a strategic posture. Really takes a look at how we are going to protect the maritime transportation system moving forward. One of the things that really jumped out at me is we see over 200 significant cyber attacks on the maritime transportation security infrastructure in this country alone each year. And we're all aware that a third of our GDP relies on our maritime commerce and our MTS. So this attack is significant, and it's ongoing, obviously. And the Coast Guard has a role, and we need to ensure that we continue to ensure the safety of the maritime transportation system, and working with facilities and vessels that operate inside that system. And obviously, we're seeing the auxiliarists have incredible amount of expertise that they can bring to bear. So there's discussions about including auxiliarists in our cyber teams. Those cyber teams that exist right now exist exclusively through our Coast Guard Cyber Command. And so, if you have that expertise and are interested in providing it to the Coast Guard, please reach out to myself and Amber, and we'll connect you with the proper people in order for you to really help the Coast Guard move this initiative forward. On the other fronts, on the cyber front, we're looking at the MSCs, our Area Maritime Security Committees, to move the ball forward on cybersecurity, and we've established a subcommittee, a cybersecurity subcommittee. We have 4 AMSCs within Sector Lake Michigan. We're going to bring all 4 of those together to develop one subcommittee, and that subcommittee will again work with facilities and vessels to ensure that they're secure and decrease their level of vulnerability against cyber attacks. And the Coast Guard has in some forward-leaning initiative, they've established and funded marine transportation system cybersecurity specialists at each sector. So I think this is obviously a really good a node for the auxiliary cybersecurity specialists to work with and assist us in making sure we can make our ports safer here in Lake Michigan. Obviously, we've had several significant leaders within the Coast Guard come to visit us over the last several months. The Commandant was here in Grand Haven. Vice Commandant was in Sturgeon Bay with Senator Baldwin to discuss the maritime transportation system and the movement of vessels during the wintertime. Obviously, the Lake Carriers Association is very concerned about their ability to move cargo during the winter months. And so they're working with the Coast Guard to figure out solutions in order to make sure there's no disruptions in the MTS. Land Area Commander was here earlier in the summer. He very much interested in our station smalls and our air facts and determining whether or not we can figure out ways we can do things smarter. And then last week, the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard was here, and some of the things that were on his mind, obviously, doesn't necessarily impact you, but the folks that you work with in the Coast Guard are very much interested in this. We've seen a dramatic rise in the cost to rent and own homes in Sector Lake Michigan's AOR, especially in those vacation destinations where owners of homes have decided or determined that they can make more using their facility or their home as an Airbnb versus renting it out year round. So it's really limited the number of houses available to our folks, and it's increased rent. So very much on the forefront of his mind is how do we increase housing allowances to ensure people have the opportunity to access fair and fair housing. Another piece that we're struggling with is during this, there's obviously a labor shortage throughout the country right now, and that's impacted our ability to move people through PCS moves. Moving companies just haven't had the appropriate number of people in order to accommodate not just the Coast Guard, but DOD as well. So this is a huge epidemic throughout the Coast Guard and throughout DOD, and we're figuring out ways to fix that. As the Admiral mentioned, vaccinations remain at the forefront of our minds. We're somewhere in the mid-90s as far as vaccination levels. So we're really making some headway there, and I anticipate we'll be where we need to be in the very near future. And then how do we retain our best and brightest? And so we're looking at ways to do that as well. On the auxiliary front, one of the nice things that we saw this year is a return to some level of normalcy. We saw increased boating events. Obviously, we had the big regatta between Chicago and Northern Michigan, where the auxiliary played an incredible role. And the reality is we just couldn't do any of these events without the auxiliary. Air shows took place in Chicago and Oshkosh. Auxiliary honestly took the lead on these events and were critical in ensuring the safety of not just the participants, but the spectators as well. And then we had, Milwaukee and in Chicago, we had very frequent marine events on a lower level. We had the Bucks. Obviously, Go Bucks won the NBA Finals, and we needed the auxiliary to ensure the safety of those folks. And it's incredible to imagine that the Milwaukee Bucks will start playing again live next week as well. So we're all excited about that. And then, when the leaves start to change, most people start thinking about, sweaters and pumpkin pie. I start thinking about division change of watches. So I'm excited to participate in those. Hopefully, obviously understand COVID may not allow us to do that in person, but if it does, I'll be at every one, and looking forward to meeting each of you and getting to celebrate all the fine work that you do. So that's really all I have, Harvey. I'm happy to take questions. But thank you for all your leadership, and look forward to continuing this conversation. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Captain. So here's another offer that a lot of us don't get to take advantage of. Captain is available and taking a question or two. I think we're doing pretty good on time. So I'll entertain a couple questions for the captain. And by the way, I think I've mentioned this before to the board, but I want you guys to know that Captain, Deputy, and the entire Sector Lake Michigan Command cadre meets with ASC, Doc Buck, and myself on a regular basis. So we are very privileged to have direct access to the sector leadership. And what I would like you guys to do is to, from time to time, think about, or as issues come up from the deck plate, or questions or concerns that relate to the sector, please funnel those to Doc Buck, and then he'll get them to me and we'll bring them before the command cadre. And that has been a very effective operating mechanism that we started back earlier this year. So I really appreciate, Captain, your entertaining us and allowing us to come in and be a part of your team.
Thanks, Harvey. I appreciate that. I think one of the highlights of my tour thus far is Doc Buck's membership at the Wisconsin Club and hosting one of our lunches just recently there. And one of the nice things we just received, our FS1 was the galley of the year last year when he was in Bahrain, and he's brought his A game to Sector Lake, Michigan. So we're going to be hosting you at the galley, and it may compete with the Wisconsin Club, maybe not in decor, but in quality of food. So look forward to see you in November at our galley.
That'd be great.
Harvey, I have a question for the captain, if that's all right.
Go right ahead.
Captain, one of the things that you specifically talked about is the drownings that we've experienced. And you specifically referenced to the one that happened recently. I think it was in Muskegon with the 18-year-old that was swimming. And so one of my questions is, effectively, do you have any suggestions or recommendations to address or to be able to impact the drownings that happen as swimmings as opposed to boat-related incidents, right? So those are people that are leaving land as opposed to departing a boat.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Shelley. So obviously, one of the things that I've observed, and Admiral just mentioned it, the community outreach at the station level with local agencies and also with the media, local media, is critical. Informing, one of the things you don't realize, and many of these drownings, and I don't know why this is, seem to happen on the Michigan side. Maybe it's because they have more swimmers, but one of the other things I've been told is the undertow, because of the way that the currents go and the winds are, the undertow on the western side of the eastern side of the lake, western Michigan, are much more significant than they are in other parts of the lake. So I think we had in one weekend down in the southern part of Michigan, western Michigan, and in Indiana, we had 3 drownings in one weekend. And what we were told by locals was it was an incredible, the undertow going basically from north to south, just people don't realize it. And if you're not a great swimmer, you can get sucked under and that's really what happened in Muskegon, is the undertow just sucked this individual, this young lady, under the water, and she unfortunately just couldn't fight it. So tragic. So it really just comes down to education, and then obviously the auxiliaries role in the boating safety component, and I know with Admiral Cottrell and with Admiral Johnston, the life jacket initiative that the auxiliary spearheads is critical. But the reality is, in many of these cases, the Coast Guard's response time, by the time when the person goes under the water, they generally have 3 to 5 minutes, and unfortunately, the Coast Guard and local agencies just can't get on scene in time to render any kind of assistance. So it's really incumbent on members to be educated and use the buddy system and be as safe as they can. So. Hopefully that answered your question, Shelley.
It does, and it makes me think of a couple other things, and I agree with you. The swimming conditions are worse on the Michigan side than certainly the Wisconsin or Illinois or even part of Indiana, just because of the way the water and the winds and all that sort of work on the lake. But it also sort of makes me realize that much of our and this is a information share more than necessarily something you can respond to, but much of our education is targeted at boaters. And we don't have a solid outreach and educational structure to be able to engage with non-boaters who are using our waterways. And much of our focus is also on either larger recreational boaters, those being power or sail. We do have some outreach with paddlers and kayakers, but I think we might as a district need to consider that we're missing an opportunity to really engage with the swimmers that are walking to our waterfronts, because they're not going to think I need a life jacket to go swimming,
right?
And they're not going to think that there's rip currents happen in Florida. They don't, and structural currents, those things those are tide related, and we don't have tides. And so I think there's a real educational and outreach opportunity there that the district might need to look at a larger scale. So, but thank you.
That's a great point, Shelley. And I meet next week, or I'm sorry, the beginning of November, with my all my OICs around the lake, and I think this might be something that we can focus on. I know they have really great relationships with local OGAs, and the auxiliary, I think, can play a role at the local level in educating swimmers. I mean, Michigan beaches, in my opinion, are second to none. And I think, but there's a role we can play to educate people once they get to the beach. And, when we've seen that education does improve or lowers the drownings. So I think we can play a role. I'm not sure we're going to be able to solve the problem entirely, but I think we can provide some value.
Correct. And if we can make an impact for one person, that's just one less drowning statistic that we're talking about, and one less friends and family that are mourning another loss.
Absolutely. That's an excellent point.
So we have two other questions for the captain, and then we'll have to move on. Next up is Jim Benison, who is our district staff officer in charge of recreational boating safety program visitation. Jim, go ahead.
I was taking notes for my RBS team, and I wanted to clarify, did Sector Great Lakes move from 4th to 3rd nationally for SAR?
That's correct. Yes.
And was that in 2020?
That was this last year. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's my question.
Yep.
Very good. Next up is Craig Feldy, who's our division commander for Division 37. Craig, go ahead.
Good morning, Captain. Trying to be as concise as possible. You were speaking earlier about ICS, and I was wondering whether it would be feasible for sector to be able to invite auxiliaries to any future ICS and EM exercises that you might be handling.
Absolutely. And there's a role in ICS for auxiliarists. And one of the things we can do, there is a lot of local, for about a year, during COVID, the local agencies really slowed down their training, the FEMA training that they were providing at every level of ICS. I think that's starting to open up again. In fact, I just went through one of the ICS courses. So I think absolutely, we're doing an ICS tabletop exercise next week, but we'll be doing another one in the spring, and I'll talk with Harvey about how we can bring the auxiliary into that next exercise in the spring. But I think that's an excellent opportunity for us to. The last one we did, the last functional exercise we did in the spring, we integrated the reserves in the active duty component, and so I think it'd be a logical step at the next one to integrate the auxiliary, the reserves, and the active in the next functional exercise we do in the spring. So I'll make that a point, and I'll work with Harvey and Tom to identify those auxiliarists that are interested, and because obviously, as you've seen, many of these large scale incidents of the national security nature, like these hurricanes and Afghan refugee, they're not solved in a day. They're certainly not solved in a week or a month. They take, half a year to a year to resolve. So there's definitely a role for the auxiliary to play in that.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your answer.
All right, thank you so much for the questions. And Captain, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you being here today. Again, to the board and the staff, don't forget, if you have concerns and questions related to this sector, run them up through your chain of leadership. And I did forget to mention Sonny. Sonny Thatch is also a part of that cadre of auxiliaries and active duty leaders that meet on a regular basis at sector. So either myself, Sonny, or Doc Buck, and we will get the important stuff on the agenda in front of the sector command cadre. So thanks again, Captain. And with that, we will move on to the next speaker. Vice NACO, Commodore Gus Formato will give us some updates from National. Commodore, it's all yours.
Thank you. I'm working on getting my video going here. There we go. I got it. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate you inviting me. I'm always honored to join this team here. This is a great district doing great things, as I've indicated earlier. What I'd like to do this morning is I'd like to give you some insight as to some really great things going on at a national level. And I'd like to start that with, we just received the designation letter designating the auxiliary chapter of the Women's Leadership Initiative. This is a very big and very significant milestone that we've now been invited to a seat at this table. And I'm quite proud that that occurred. On that same line, we've also been offered a seat at the table, and Commodore Sue Thurlow has been representing us with I Lead, which is inclusion, leadership, excellence, and diversity. So these are two very important initiatives. They're important to the Commandant, they're important to NACO, they're important to me, and to be able to have auxiliary representation, I just think is absolutely outstanding. Harvey, you and I spoke earlier about my planning OPCOM next Saturday. As you know, OPCOM Saturday and that national board meeting will be Sunday. Well, I am pleased, truly pleased to share with you that we will have 5 admirals joining us. At OPCOM on Saturday, we'll have Admiral Mauger, who's 5P, which is prevention, who oversees us, the auxiliary. He'll be joining us. Vice Admiral Poulin, the Atlantic Area Commander, will be joining us. And the Deputy Commandant for Operations, Vice Admiral Bushman, will be speaking as well. So on Saturday, we'll have representation from 3 flag officers. And on Sunday, we'll have the Pacific Area Commander, Admiral McAllister, and the Vice Commandant herself, Admiral Linda Fagan, will be joining us for the national board meeting. The fact that we have 5 senior flag officers joining us speaks volumes to me. It tells me how much we mean to them. This is amazing. The support that we're receiving from active duty, and just having Admiral Johnston with us this morning, this is amazing. It's such an encouragement for our people to know that they're that valued. So I'm very much looking forward to next weekend. In an email conversation with DNACO Mullally and Commodore Slaybaugh, something was brought to my attention earlier this week. And that is, we've had to cancel 3 in-person national events. We've canceled 2 NACONs and N-Train. And while we were able to make up for a lot of it virtually, what we lost was a lot of the camaraderie, a lot of the networking, the conversations that happen in elevators, in hallways, the cocktail parties after events, the luncheons, the dinners, that went by the wayside. Yes, we managed to find a way to be with each other virtually and safely. And that's wonderful. I'm thrilled about that. But we did lose that interpersonal connection. So with that in mind, we are going to host a couple of virtual cocktail parties. NACO myself, NextCom, will be inviting the DCOs and DCOSs to join us for the first one. And the second one will be for the ANACOs and the directors. And I got a feeling this is going to be well received. And if my feeling's correct, we're going to continue this. This could be a very informal setting. I think I want to do this without uniforms, obviously. And just to banter back and forth, just to spend some time with each other. That time we would have spent at these national events that didn't occur. So obviously it's going to be BYOB. I'd like to tell you NACO's buying, but he would tell you I'm buying. That's not true. So please check. What was that?
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. So please check your emails for dates and times. And as I indicated, it will be virtual. Another thing we were looking at too is each quarter, the DNACOs submit a quarterly report. And I'm sure you're aware of that because your district report is part of that, as well as whatever program areas that they support. What we've decided to do is to create a folder within Google Docs so that each of the district commodores and chief of staffs can have access to these quarterly reports, because there's a lot of best practices in there. So perhaps something really good.
Yeah, it's going to be near that pharmacy sign. All right,
I'm sorry.
thank you.
So perhaps we have something really good going on in 9 West, and someone from 11 North can benefit from that. So I think it's a great idea that we're going to share this information. The more we share, the better off we are, the further we go. Captain Montoro spoke about us supporting cyber. We've been doing that in a very big way. I'm quite pleased to know that that's one of the areas the Coast Guard has now looked for us to redefine ourselves. Granted, our job 1 is still recreational boating safety, but job 2 has quickly become mission support. And that is something that's changing frequently. A couple of years back, supporting cyber wasn't something on our radar. Now it's a day-to-day thing. Our chaplain support program is growing exponentially. Dr. Poole is doing an amazing job. He's actually looking at active duty areas to see where the chaplain support is needed most. And he is cold calling pastors and asking them to join this effort to support our people. I think this is absolutely amazing. In addition to that, we've started doing some investigations to help the Coast Guard identify and locate mariners using counterfeit commercial fishing licenses. I will tell you that they were totally impressed and shocked as to the efficiency and the speed in which we've accomplished this, where the first 15 targets of the investigation were provided 24 hours later. The Coast Guard had the answers they needed. So every day we're going to redefine ourselves so that we can continue that mission support. It gives a whole new meaning to that Semper Gumby. I too would be willing to field a couple of questions, but before I do, I have a message for Sonny. Sonny, I read your post the other day. In some way, somehow, we're going to get some Yingling out to you.
I appreciate that, Commodore. You know how I am, so.
I got you covered, brother.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
so with that, if there's some concerns or something I could shed some light on, I'd love to.
Okay, thank you so much, Commodore, and I appreciate that kind offer. I'm going to limit it to one question because we are starting to run short on time. So who's got that magic question for Commodore Fumato?
This is the NACO. Gus, you sure you're not going to buy?
Okay, that was the question.
That was
So
it. I think his answer is breaking up there, Alex.
Well, I'm sure your chief of staffs will tell you that when NACO and I got to the Coast Guard Academy for the ASOC class, NACO very generously volunteered or voluntold the class that I would be buying. And when we got to Tony D's that night, I made good on NACO's promise.
Fantastic. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
listen, I want you to know we really appreciate you being here, both of you guys. I wasn't sure. I thought Alex may have been waylaid with a conflict, but either way, it's always great to hear from our national leadership, and we're privileged to have you guys join us. So thank you so much. With that, I am going to move to my favorite part of the program, and we're going to talk about awards. So we have a number of awards to give out today, and we're going to read the citations. We have district awards and we have sector awards. So I'm going to call upon Assistant Dirox Ralph Kugel to start us off with the District 9 awards. Ralph, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Commodore. How are you?
Very good. How are you today?
So far, so good. I appreciate it. And thank you very much. It's my favorite part right here where we get to recognize some folks, and that's always a tremendous thing. And I want everybody to understand too, when people are receiving awards, it's never done in a bubble, right? These are because of their leadership and the work of others and the leadership of others as well. So when we give these awards, there's always multiple layers to them. And I want to thank everybody. Okay, I really do. I want to thank everybody. And I have 3 Auxiliary Achievement Awards that we'd like to move forward with. So I'm going to put myself on camera if that's okay. Not that you want to see me, not that anybody wants to see me, but all right, perfect. Okay. All right, so can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. Attention to award. The citation to accompany the award of the Auxiliary Achievement Medal, Gold Star in lieu of second, to Robert E. Kumpf, Jr., United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliary Kumpf is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as Division Commander for Division 31 in Grand Haven, Michigan, in the 9th Western Auxiliary Region, the United States Coast Guard, from July 19th to August 2021. Providing steadfast leadership, expertise, and a commitment to Division 31, he pushed his team to excel during an unprecedented dynamics that the COVID-19 pandemic presented. Utilizing online platforms, he was able to lead the division's 96 auxiliaries during the height of the pandemic and ensure that his team continued to train and complete their mission safely while also following all implemented protocols. They utilized online platforms and needed to recruit, meet, and train. Under his direction, Division 31 continuously posted high performance numbers in member training, recreational boating safety, visitation, vessel examination, and public education missions for the duration of his service. Division 31 also achieved 100% completion of all tasks required to earn the NACOF 3-Star Award for Diversity for 2 consecutive years and the 9th Western Auxiliary Region's Flotilla of the Year for 2020. Under his leadership, he has led the front approach, resulting in Division 31 being recognized as the can-do flotilla throughout the region. Auxiliary Kumpf's diligence, perseverance, and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Nice job, Rob. Well deserved. Thank you. Attention to award. Citation to accompany the award of the Auxiliary Achievement Medal, Gold Star in lieu of second, to David E. Gaylord, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliary Gaylord is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as Staff Officer, Operations for Division 31, Grand Haven, Michigan, 9th District Western Auxiliary Region, from January of 2020 to October of 2021. Demonstrating superb leadership, expertise, initiative, and commitment, Auxiliary Gaylord distinguished himself by coordinating and instructing 8 operation workshops, ensuring member qualifications were supported for more than 175 members. Numerous boat crew personnel, protective equipment inspections, and managed dozens of surface patrols throughout the division, amassing more than 450 hours of volunteer service. In addition, he accumulated 150 volunteer hours, coordinating 79 assignment to duty requests for members of his division during the height of the global COVID-19 pandemic. As an auxiliary unit coordinator for Station Grand Haven, Michigan, he demonstrated superior professional competency and leadership, providing auxiliary coordination and managing more than 5,000 visitors who attended the Grand Haven National Coast Guard Festival. Auxiliary Gaylord's diligent perseverance and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Congratulations, Dave. Well deserved. Well deserved. All right, and the last one I have before we move on to sector, citation to accompany the award of the Coast Guard Auxiliary Achievement Medal presented to Jennifer L. Austin, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliary Austin is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as Commander Flotilla 8, Kalamazoo, Michigan, for the 9th Western Auxiliary Region from January 2020 to December 2020. As the 2020 9th Western Region Auxiliarist of the Year, demonstrating superior professional competence and lead by example philosophy during an unprecedented period brought on by the global COVID-19 pandemic. She was an essential member of the Spring 2020 District Training Conference team and was instrumental in converting the physical training approach into a virtual training methodology in record time. Additionally, she created a Zoom 101 educational tool for instructors and attendees alike, resulting in increasing the 9th Western's membership attendance for district training events. Operationally, she served as the flotilla commander and was able to foster growth and continued interest in virtual flotilla activities while also mentoring 4 new aviation enthusiasts throughout flight line and airline training. A versatile leader, she was called upon to lead the district in a new implemented electronic voting for district elections. Based on lessons learned, she developed training and provided one-on-one guidance for division and flotilla elections. Finally, she impressively dedicated over 1,800 volunteer hours in 2020. Auxiliarist Austin's diligence, dedication, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Great job, Jen. Great job. And for those who don't know, there's a lot that goes on in the DIROC's office that starts with Jen and finishes with Jen. So she makes my job a little bit easier, and I really, truly appreciate that. And I know that she works with Commander and that she works with Bosun, and I know that they all appreciate it too. And if I could make that award, it would probably be about 4 pages long. Congratulations on the Auxiliary of the Year. That's a fantastic award. I'm glad you were recognized for that. And congratulations on the achievement, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you, Ralph. You guys are a pleasure to work with.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You are the pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ralph. We really appreciate all your hard work when it comes to awards. Guys, you may not know this, but Ralph has to deal with not just our district, but 2 others. And he does a fantastic job with awards. There's a lot behind the scenes that goes on. And I really appreciate everything he puts into that. Lots of energy, lots of work. Okay. You bet. Next on the awards agenda is our Sector Lake Michigan Deputy Commander, Commander Doreen McCarthy. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Commander.
Good morning.
Commodore, as well as esteemed colleagues. So today I'm going to recognize quite a number of folks. We have 2 meritorious team commendations, 3 achievements, and 2 commendations. So the first MTC, we will be recognizing Bradley Couch, Christopher Stallman, John Saran, Gerald Kuklik, Philip Leonard, Philip Aisling, Paul Mulvey, Jay Samtag, Robert Allen, David Bovin, and Miss Elizabeth Blyer. Attention to award. The Commandant of the Coast Guard takes pleasure in presenting the Coast Guard Meritorious Team Commendation to United States Coast Guard Auxiliary 6 Chicago Flotilla Public Education Team for service set forth in the following. Citation. For exceptionally meritorious service from January 2021 to May 2021, while serving on the 6th Chicago Flotilla Public Education Team. During the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, boating and paddlecraft activities by first-time operators increased tremendously on Lake Michigan in 2020, bringing an uptick in response cases and fatalities on the water. This team used 2020 water activity data to develop and implement a virtual public education plan to ensure the first-time operators in the Chicago and surrounding areas had the appropriate safety training before heading out on the waterway for the 2021 season. Over the course of 12 weeks, this team contributed over 45 hours teaching 4 Boating America courses and 11 paddlers guides to safety courses to 125 students. This team also spent more than 40 hours preparing, planning, and training for these public-facing efforts. They creatively developed a virtual course that allowed this team to teach not only individuals from the Lake Michigan area, but also across the country and even members of the paddlecraft community and island. These courses received positive feedback from students and attendees, including John Browning, who is the vice chair of the Safety and Education chair of America's Canoe Association. The dedication, pride, and professionalism displayed by the 6th Chicago Flotilla Public Education Team in protecting the mariners of Lake Michigan are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. For the Commandant, D.P. Montoro, Captain, U.S. Coast Guard, Commander, Sector Lake Michigan. Next up, for the 2021 Auxiliary EAA members, we're going to recognize John Vodra, Keith Demmel, Lee Botchell, Andrew Duncern, Brian Hinckley, Robert Allen, Robert Kidler, Rebecca Welch, Gregory Birchner, Jen Austin, Bob Wochi, Charlie Haig, David Lowry, John Davis, Mike Hopsfinsberg, Mike Donnelly, Jennifer Holmes, Russell Hoganson, and Kevin Osgood. Attention to award. The Commandant of the United States Coast Guard takes pleasure in presenting the Coast Guard Meritorious Team Commendation to the Experimental Aircraft Association Air Venture 2021 Coast Guard Auxiliary Water Safety Team for service set forth in the following. Citation. For exceptionally meritorious service from July 26 to August 1st, 2021, while serving on the Experimental Aircraft Association Air Venture 2021 Auxiliary Water Safety Team. The 19 members of this team, exclusively auxiliary members, performed or supported multi-mission patrols on Lake Winnebago in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, from 0800 to 20 hours for 7 continuous days. These important missions included the support of Experimental Aircraft Association seaplane base operations, maritime safety patrols, maritime observation patrols, radio operations, vessel safety examinations, and public affairs outreach. This complex and logistically challenging mission utilized 3 operational facilities and a mobile command and control center staffed by auxiliarists to support 494 facility patrol hours. The operational facilities provided a valuable service to the seaplane base and the public by informing recreational boaters of the safety hazards associated with frequent arrivals and departures of 48 seaplanes. This team also significantly increased the Coast Guard's maritime safety presence on Lake Winnebago during this particularly hazard time, as more than 10,000 aircraft flew near Lake Winnebago to participate in the EAA Air Venture. Other hazards were created by hundreds of boaters gathered on the waterway to observe the daily shows. The auxiliary coordinated their efforts with the state and local enforcement and emergency responders to ensure a safe event while strengthening the Coast Guard's working relationship with partner agencies. The dedication, pride, and professionalism displayed to our Experimental Aircraft Association Air Venture 2021 Auxiliary Water Safety Team are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. The operational distinguishing device is authorized for the Commandant DP Montoro, Captain, United States Coast Guard, Commander, Lake Michigan. Congratulations, everyone. All right, next up, the first achievement medal. Attention to award. Citation to accompany the award of the Auxiliary Achievement Medal to Auxiliarist James Lubner, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliarist Lubner is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as an auxiliarist in the Prevention Department of Sector Lake, Michigan from May 1st, 2012 to August 18th, 2019. During his tenure, he demonstrated expertise and excellent use of local responders in the uninspected passenger vessel examiner and commercial fishing vessel examiner qualifications. In his role as the uninspected passenger vessel examiner and trainer, he helped coordinate 7 annual uninspected passenger vessel examiner blitzes in Racine and ensured the successful examination of over 40 vessels, issuing UPV exam decals and greatly enhancing the safety of vessels and waterways. Dedicated to developing others, he supervised and trained 7 Coast Guard Reserve marine science technicians and several auxiliarists in the UPV exams, resulting in the qualification of 4 MSTs as UPV examiners, bolstering the operational readiness of Marine Safety Unit Chicago. He also recognized a need for local commercial fishing vessel examiner training and assisted in developing a comprehensive training curriculum to deliver locally to allow members to train locally without waiting for acceptance to a Coast Guard Sea School. Due to the program's high quality, it was approved by sector to fulfill the requirement for the commercial fishing vessel examiner qualification. The training resulted in 5 fully qualified members and 4 other members who left the training with the majority of their requirements completed. Auxiliarist Lubner's diligence, perseverance, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Well done. Citation to accompany the award. The Auxiliarist Achievement Medal to Auxiliarist Gerard Husin, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliarist Husin is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as an auxiliarist in the Prevention Department for Sector Lake, Michigan. Harvey, did I just read this one?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, my bad. I was making sure I was on to a new one. My apologies, Harvey.
That's okay. You're on Jerry Husson, is that correct?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
that's who it is.
Got it.
My apologies, Mr. Husson. While serving in the Prevention Department of Sector Lake, Michigan from May 2012 to August 18th, 2019. During his tenure, he demonstrated expertise and excellent use of local resources in the uninspected passenger vessel exam and commercial fishing vessel examiner qualifications. In his role as the uninspected passenger vessel examiner in training, he helped coordinate 7 annual uninspected passenger vessel blitzes in Racine and ensured the successful examination of over 40 vessels, issuing the uninspected passenger vessel exam decal and greatly enhancing the safety of the vessels and waterways. Dedicated to developing others, he supervised and trained 7 Coast Guard Reserve marine science technicians and several auxiliarists in the uninspected passenger vessel exams, resulting in the qualifications of 4 marine science technicians as uninspected passenger vessel examiners, bolstering the operational readiness for Marine Safety Unit Chicago. He also recognized a need for the commercial fishing vessel examiner training and assisted with developing a comprehensive commercial fishing vessel examiner training curriculum to deliver locally to allow members to train locally without the requirement waiting for the acceptance into a C school. Due to the program's high quality, it was approved by sector to fulfill the requirements for the commercial fishing vessel examiner qualifications. This training resulted in 5 fully qualified members and 4 other members who left the training with the majority of their commercial fishing vessel examiner requirements completed. Auxiliarist Husin's diligence, perseverance, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Well done. All right. Attention to award. Citation to accompany the Coast Guard Auxiliary Achievement Medal to William Glisson, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliarist Glisson is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as the color guard captain for the 9th Western Region, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary from January 2017 to December 2021. Distinguished by his superb leadership, expertise, and commitment to the 9th Western District Color Guard, he led his team to excel as a dedicated public representative of the United States Coast Guard. He led his team at many high-profile events around the lake, including the annual Coast Guard Festival Parade in Grand Haven, Michigan, the Chicago Memorial Day Parade, and multiple Independence Day parades, Chicago Cubs baseball game, and district training events. His vast experience made him the on-site leader and the subject matter expert for many auxiliary members' wakes, viewings, and funerals, as well as the Chicago Division Coast Guard Station change of watch. Most notably, he led the 9th Western Region's Color Guard in performing honors at a retirement ceremony at Sector Lake, Michigan, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Auxiliarist Glisson's diligence, tenacity, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Well done. Citation to accompany the award, Coast Guard Auxiliary Commendation to Mr. George Boers, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliarist Boers is cited for outstanding achievement while serving as the flotilla and division staff officer for communications from May 2019 to May 2021. Demonstrating superior professional competence, management acumen, and initiative, he contributed over 4,300 volunteer hours as a watchstander at Station Milwaukee and was renowned for his ability to calm the environment during numerous search and rescue incidents. His expertise in radio communications was utilized throughout the 9th Western region to educate other auxiliarists on communication skills at all levels of the organization, including district, division, and flotilla levels. His extensive participation in recreation boating safety missions directly resulted in the training and development of hundreds of Coast Guard auxiliarists. His impressive commitment to Coast Guard Auxiliary has culminated into a remarkable 31 years of volunteer service. Over the span of his career, he dedicated over 13,000 individual volunteer hours in support of Station Milwaukee's area of responsibility and epitomized the concept of leading by example by being a force multiplier who sought out and accomplished any task put in front of him. Auxiliarist Boers' dedication, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Thank you for everything, Mr. Boers. Congratulations. All right. Attention to award. Citation to accompany the award of the Auxiliary Commendation Medal to John R. Boserman, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Auxiliarist Boserman is cited for outstanding achievement while serving as the Public Affairs Division Staff Officer from October 2019 to August 2021. Demonstrating remarkable organizational insight and expertise, he skillfully created a public affairs and social media operational plan to support the 9th Coast Guard District and Sector Lake, Michigan during the annual Grand Haven Coast Guard Festival. His plan included 20 auxiliarists supporting active and reserve Coast Guard public affairs personnel during this national celebration. He also enthusiastically recruited and trained photographers and social media content creators. His innovative vision for social media content was critical in the promotion of the festival, as well as the Coast Guard, which led to 32 media posts that reached 23,850 individuals. These individuals shared the posts, the Coast Guard Festival contents, 4,575 times in a 7-day period. His leadership and management of the public affairs mission during the Grand Haven Coast Guard Festival bolstered the Coast Guard's public affairs and community relations mission, yielding 47 distinct requests for information on joining the Coast Guard. Auxiliarist Boserman's dedication, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard and the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Well done. Thank you very much, Commodore, and congratulations to everyone who was recognized today.
Well, thank you, Commander, and I hope you get some water because it looks like you're a little bit winded there. That was a lot of awards. So I will, at this point, I'd like to just add my personal congratulations to the award winners. I'm very proud of you guys. You're doing a fantastic job. And thank you to Commander as well as Lieutenant Naprala for all the hard work you guys have done on the active duty side to make sure that these awards happen. And I think this has been a very successful year for our district, and we are indeed seeing the results of that in some of these awards. Now, we are running short on time, so here's what we're going to do. A little bit of an audible on the agenda. First of all, we would have liked to have heard from Commodore Staggs on updates from the Coast Guard Mutual Assistance program, and unfortunately he was unable to join us today. He's got a family situation that came up, and likewise we were going to hear from Mike Wydell on the status of the Amy Gustafson Seeley Scholarship Fund. And as luck would have it, Mike also is unable to join us, and he had again an emergency that he had to respond to today. So family comes first, and our thoughts are with these guys, and I hopefully everything works out okay, whatever they're being pulled into. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask that Pam, our records officer, take statements from both Mike and Jay and get those posted out on the OneDrive as part of the minutes. So that way, at least we'll have a little bit of an update on what's going on. You guys can capture that when you read the minutes.
Will do, sir.
Thank you, Pam. So at this point, we are going to break. And instead of a 15-minute break, let's take a 10-minute break. And let's go to about, okay, looks like 10:50 will work just fine. So everybody go get some refreshment, relax a little bit, stretch, and then come back and we'll start the business session of the meeting in 10 minutes. Thank you all. Okay, we are back. Hopefully everybody came back. So I would like to just add a little bit more detail on the awards. First of all, these citations will be mailed to the recipients. Obviously, if this were a D-Train in person, we'd be handing these out. But look for them in the mail, hopefully soon, but you can never tell with during pandemic times, mail service is slow and lots of other things get in our way. But for the recipients, again, my congratulations, and you will be getting those. There are 4 more awards that were not read today because they were previously awarded and approved, but they kind of happened earlier on in the season. So these are they're actually Coast Guard Auxiliary Medal of Operational Merit, and they went to the team of auxiliaries that were performing during. This goes back to August of 2019. And they were the members, the crew of the facility 242040. That these guys were underway supporting the Chicago Air and Water Show, and identified a woman and child in the water struggling to swim back to their vessel. So this is an outstanding accomplishment. Falls right into surface operation excellence, and that's the purpose of this medal. Those awards are already posted out on the District OneDrive. So rather than read those, I'm going to ask you guys to go out and read them on the OneDrive. And congratulations goes to the crew of facility 242040 for an outstanding rescue. Mission accomplished. Thank you guys. Bravo Zulu. So it is now time to start the business section of the meeting. And we're going to start off with a new roll call to make sure everybody came back, and then a reconfirmation of the quorum. So Pam, would you please take us through that?
Yes, sir. Good morning again. District 95 Commodore.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Chief of Staff Sonny Thatch.
Present.
District 95 Immediate Past Commodore and Deputy National Commodore for Atlantic West Tom Wally.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain East Rob Kumpf.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain South Tim Derry.
Present.
Thank you. District 95 Captain West Peter Gabinski.
Present.
Thank you. District 31 Vice Commander Dan Grenendike.
Present.
Thank you. Division 33 Commander Jen Austin.
Present.
Thank you. Division 35 Commander Gerald Koldick.
Present.
Thank you. Division 37 Commander Craig Feldy.
Present.
Thank you. Division 39 Commander Sean Landa.
Present.
Thanks. Division 41 Commander Tim Cooper.
Present.
Thank you. Division 43 Commander Thomas Matt.
Present.
Division 45 Commander David Rappy.
Present.
Division 47 Commander William Meehy.
Present.
Thank you. All accounted for.
Thank you, Pam. And back to you, Steve Young, DSO LP. Do you reconfirm our quorum today? Is Steve still with us?
He is. He's currently muted.
Ah, okay. So if somebody could maybe electronically reach over and jab him, or
Unmute and sound like him.
Steve, you need to unmute. Okay.
I'm giving him a call, Harvey.
All right, appreciate that. Just want to keep the formalities straight. I'm sure we have a quorum, but he's the guy.
I can always step in for the guy.
That's true. Were there any, Pam, were there any missing board members?
No, there were not. Since the vice commander stepped in for Division 31, you
Okay.
have all members.
Okay, I think I'm going to speak out of school and say we have a quorum and proceed with the proceedings, if that's okay with everybody.
Works
All
for
right.
me.
So our first order of business is the acceptance of the March 27th, 2021 minutes. Thank you, Pam, for the fantastic job you did putting those together. There's a lot of data in there, a lot of information, just like today's call. It was a big session. Those are posted out on the OneDrive. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to read those and think about those and double check and triple check. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Okay, who was that? Just make sure for the record.
DSOLP.
Roger.
Steve Young.
I'm sorry, Steve, you are not a member of the board.
Nope.
It
So
has to be,
moved.
yeah, it has to be a board member.
So moved, DCAP South.
Roger that. Okay, Tim Derry has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Will second that, sir.
I see Craig Feldy has seconded. Now, is there any discussion? Does anybody have any changes, deletions, additions, or anything that might have gotten missed? Now's the time. Hearing no discussion, I will call for the question. Pam, did you want to do a hand? Well, let's see. We could do it by
By nays.
pardon me?
By nays? I believe you
Yes.
did that last time.
Yes, we can do it by nays. That saves a little bit of time. So do we have any nays? Hearing none, by definition, we have all ayes. So therefore, the minutes pass unanimously. And thanks again, Pam, for taking care of that for us.
My pleasure.
Okay. Now, we come to elections. And we do have some elections to do for 2020 terms of office. And because we are in electronic mode today, the electronic elections standard operating procedure is in effect. And for those of you who haven't read it, it is posted. It's available on the Chief Director's site on National. I will read you the relevant section for today. It is section 1D. And it says in so many words, elections of auxiliary unit officers in which there is only one candidate do not require a secret ballot and may be conducted during a meeting of the board by voice vote via telephone, video conferencing, or other means when a quorum is present. No demand for a secret ballot during such elections is authorized. Only one vote is sufficient to elect a candidate who is unopposed. And as it turns out, we have only unopposed candidates today. So I'm going to start with the position District Captain East. We have one candidate, and that is the incumbent District Captain East, Rob Kumpf. Can I get one vote for Rob Kumpf for this position?
Commodore, this is J.R. Quill from Division 35. I will vote for Mr. Kump for DCAP East.
Thank you very much, JR. Rob, congratulations. You are the District Captain East for 2022.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to District Captain South. Again, we have only one candidate, and it happens to be Tim Derry, the incumbent District Captain South. Can I get one vote for Tim Derry for District Captain South for 2022?
Craig Feldy, District Division 37 votes.
Thank you, Craig. And congratulations are in order to you, Tim. Thank you for stepping up and re-upping, as they say.
Thank you, Commodore. And thank you,
Congratulations.
everybody.
Finally, we have District Captain West. And we have only, again, one candidate, Peter Gabinski, who is the incumbent. Can I get a vote for Peter Gabinski for District Captain West for the term of 2022?
Tom Matt, Division 43, voting for Peter.
Roger that, Tom. Therefore, congratulations are in order for Peter Gabinski, District Captain West, for the next term. Thank you, Peter, for stepping up, and thank you all for coming back and serving again. I have to say, at this point, I'm very, very happy with all three district captains. You guys are doing a fantastic job for us. We started off the year purposely, let's say, not so much redefining the position of district captain, but kind of doubling down on the things that you guys would be doing, getting you far more involved with the district, with the divisions, and then getting your hands pretty dirty in some of the tough issues that we've had to deal with this year. So I just want you guys to know how proud I am of you as district captains. I think I've got the best team. I probably got the best XCOM in the auxiliary. I feel, honestly, I feel that way. So thanks for coming back, and get ready for a wild and crazy 2022, because I'm sure we're going to have fun, just like we did this year. Okay, next subject, next order of business. We have our DSO FN, Todd Nitz, is on the line, and his finance report is also posted on the OneDrive. Todd, you're up. Let's make sure he's there.
Oh, I'm here. I was going to try to do video, but it's not working. That's all right. I'll just do my thing. All right. The balance sheet as of October 4th, when I posted it, was we had $72,735.78 in our reserve account, $23,439.71 in our dedicated account. On that date, our checking account had $24,682.88. The Anderson Trust Fund has $72,665.22. Our fixed assets are a PA trailer, conference assets, and that's it.
Okay.
For our balance sheet. Profit loss. I don't know if you care for me to go through the entire thing, but we did have a net increase in funds over that period of $4,524.05 through dues.
Is that a year-to-date P&L?
Yes, that's between January 1 and October 4th.
October 4th. Okay. Yep. Roger that. Anything else, Todd?
No, thanks. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions for DSO FN?
Sorry, but I have to ask, I have an accounting background. Our four accounts are checking, Anderson Fund, reserve account, and dedicated account.
Correct.
What do the reserve account and the dedicated account apply to?
There's our paragraphs in our, what have you called, bylaws, Harvey?
Yes, standing rules. Standing rules.
Yeah, and let me see if I have that here in front of me.
Well, you know, another approach we could take here is that we are going to put up for a vote the Appendix 4 for the standing rules under new business, and that appendix does talk to all of the accounts that we have.
That's correct.
And it gives a little bit of explanation on those.
I will say they don't get a lot of attention, so it's good to speak about them once in a while.
Tom, did you get a chance to read through the appendix? I know you were struggling to get access to it the other day.
I did. That's kind of what caused my questioning what the accounts are for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of history here, and some of these accounts date way back. And in some cases, the original purpose is lost to history, but the rules still remain. And we can certainly talk about that going forward. If there's something that you see there that you'd like to do differently, or that perhaps some proposal that you might want to raise up to as far as how we allocate funds and so forth. That's something we can talk about for next time. But meanwhile, Todd, unless you can add any more background to those accounts.
Those accounts has a description of its purpose. There's been no activity other than redepositing the CDs every year during my tenure. And it's a great blessing to have that money, but it's not being used for anything.
And who knows? I mean, in the beginning, it might have been put in as an emergency fund. I don't know if we have all of that background. I certainly don't.
I'd be happy to provide any historical documents I have to anyone who requests them. An email would be best.
Okay. Would you mind taking that action item then?
Absolutely. Perhaps
And share with the board.
Board, of course.
Okay.
Excellent.
Tom, is that okay if we go that route?
Yes, I was just curious what the accounts were for.
Yeah.
And I understand when things get lost as time moves on and commanders change. We have that same problem on the division and flotilla levels too.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of the reason why I'm set forth the proposal for Appendix 4, and you guys, we'll talk about that a little bit more under new business. But for now, that's it for the finance report. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate your hard work there. And we're going to move on to
Commodore, if I could make one brief comment about the Anderson grant.
about the what?
The Anderson grant.
Oh, the Anderson Fund. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to express my appreciation from D33, the grant that Kalamazoo Flotilla was issued, allowed us to purchase 940 whistles for PFD devices that we'll be able to hand out at public affairs events for paddlecraft outreach. So we really, really appreciate the money, and we hope to put it to very good use.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. And in fact, that's what the Anderson Grant is all about. I mean, that's a prime example of how that money is supposed to be used. It's an RBS fund. We've used it in the past. I don't know, Todd, you might have a little bit more background in terms of the payouts we've done, but some years I remember we go and we don't really get a lot of requests for Anderson grants. But
that's correct.
Everybody should think about that for next year. We do have some timetables, and those are in the Appendix 4. Okay.
Commodore, I've got a quick question. It's just DSOLP. For the DSO finance, Todd, when was the last time we conducted an audit of those accounts?
You mean an audit that would be done by our members of my accounting of it? Sure, it's done every year as part of the 70-25 process. John Staggs and Commodore Johnson.
Commodore Podolsky, I think, was the other auditor.
Yeah, when Johnson retired, Podolsky stepped up. Yeah, it's done every year.
And during that time, there weren't any incongruities or strange activity or anything out of the ordinary?
This is Tom Mullally. I was on that audit team, and there's no improper entries at all.
Okay, thank you.
Except for the trip to the Bahamas that ultimately got canceled anyway.
Hiya, Jen.
We can strike that, but
Yeah, we
thanks.
will. All right. Okay, moving on, guys. Updates to officers' written reports. As you all know, our reports are out there on the OneDrive folder, and my thanks go to all officers, both elected and staff, that took the time to update us on your activities in your specific program area. And I think we did a nice job this time. There's a plethora of information out there. I highly encourage people to go out, access the OneDrive and read through those reports if you haven't already done so. So I'll turn it over to Pam at this point to go around and collect changes, additions, or deletions or corrections to the reports that have been so very well done and posted.
Thank you very much. Good morning again. I am going to start with the bridge. Commodore Rendell, do you have anything to add to your report?
I do indeed. I have one correction to my report. In my report, I discussed the status of our organization, effectively, and better known as a chain of leadership and management. And in that paragraph, I reported that we have several offices that are vacant right now, or they will be vacant by the year end, based on information I've received from the staff officers. I mistakenly included DSO HR in that list. My apologies go to Bob Oakey. Bob dropped me a note and he said, "What? I'm not, you don't want me anymore?" No, not at all. Bob's doing a stellar job. We appreciate everything he does in the HR arena. And that was just my confusion. I should not have listed DSO HR. However, the other offices are indeed, that I did mention, are indeed vacant, or they will be. And if you really want a full picture of the chain of leadership and management in pictorial format, with all the correct openings that we have, and there are several, please go out to the OneDrive folder. And that is all I have. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome, and it's so noted for the minutes. District 95 Chief of Staff, Sonny Thatch, do you have any additions?
No, Pam, my report stands as submitted. Thank you.
Thank you. District 95 Immediate Past Commodore and Deputy National Commodore for Atlantic West.
Nothing to add.
Malati? Nothing to add. Thank you. District 95 Captain East. Rob Kumpf, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. I would just like to again thank the 3 divisions that are in Group East for their hard work, and I look forward to working with them more.
So recorded. Thank you. District 95 Captain South, Tim Derry. Anything to add?
Nothing to add, but also a comment. 2021 equated to a time of challenges and triumphs, especially in Area South. You know, historically, if everybody has all challenges, you're just overwhelmed. And if you have all triumphs, well, that's not really reality. Area South has had the perfect blend and really has shown. And I thank the 3 division commanders, Craig Feldy, Sean Landa, Tim Cooper, as well as their vices and staffs, for their participation and their professionalism. And I really look forward, with having been reelected to 2022 and working again. Thank you.
Thank you, and so noted. District 95 DCAP West, Peter Kabinski.
No additions.
Gotcha. Division 31 Vice Commander Dan Grenendijk.
Additions.
That was no additions. Thank you. Division 31 Commander Jen Austin.
Division 33.
I'm sorry. I do this every year, don't I?
That's okay. I'll take it. We'll just swap out territories. That's all. Nothing to add, but I would like to extend my gratitude to DCAP East Comp for stepping in kind of mid year for us as far as the DCAP goes. I know can be a difficult transition, and he's admirably stepped into the role and taken lead on our AOR. So I just want to express my appreciation for that.
So noted, and thank you. Division 35 Commander Gerald Kulik, anything to add?
Good morning, everyone. I have one correction to my report as submitted. I noted there that we qualified one new coxswain candidate, and that number should actually be 2. So we have 2 new coxswains in Division 35. And just one thing to point out from the report for others who may have missed it, at our September meeting, we voted to officially change the name of the division from Calumet Harbor Division 35 to Chicago Division 35 to more closely align ourselves with the name change of Station Chicago from Station Calumet Harbor a little over a year ago. So you will see further documentation, or if you see that in Aux Data 2, we are now Chicago Division 35. Thank you very much.
So noted. Thank you. Division 37 Commander Craig Feldy.
Report stands as written. Sorry for the one little typo. I would like to ask one for their prayers for 15-year auxiliarist Jim Plunkett from 3703. He's undergoing some intense medical issues, and he could use all of our prayers. Thank you.
So noted. Thank you. Division 39 Commander Sean Landa.
No additions to my report, but a comment. I appreciate the DCAP South engagement and with all the divisions in the area. It's been nice working with them, and glad hopefully have another year of it. That's all.
So noted. Division 41 Commander Tim Cooper.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Division 43 Commander Thomas Matt.
I have nothing to add, but I'd like to wish the best of luck to all the leaders in 2022. Thank you.
So noted, and thank you. Division 45 Commander David Rappy.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. And Division 47 Commander William Meehee.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Now I'm going to segue into the staff officers. But first, I'm going to start with our area sector coordinator, Tom Buck. Do you have anything to add?
Nothing further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to call DSO Aviation, Kevin Charco. We'll try to get back to that. DSO Culinary Assistance, Gail Sedlock.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. DSO Communications, Michael Vinier.
No changes, thank you.
Thank you. DSO Computer Systems, Scott Jensenmer.
A couple of minor additions. So far on E-Train, except for a couple of minor scheduling hiccups, I have not heard of any problems, so things seem to be going well there. I've started to send out queries for election information for this fall since we're doing it electronically. So I'm sure all of the division captains and district captains have gotten that information. I'll be sending out information to flotillas soon as well. So for the division commanders and district captains, we'll probably need your help in getting all that information together. And I've also published the final link for the this YouTube presentation on the board documents and recordings page on the website, so that after this meeting, people will have access to it.
That I appreciate. Thank you very much. DSO Diversity, Rita Casper.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. I believe DSO Emergency Management was unable to attend.
Right.
Thank you. DSO Finance, Todd Nitz, do you have anything additional to include?
Nothing additional. Thank you.
Thank you. DSO Human Resources, Bob Woshi.
Nothing to add. Glad I'm going to be around for another year.
DSOIS Information Systems, Paul Newmiller.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. DSO Marine Safety, Tony Carico.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
DSO member training, Bob Allen.
Like to express our appreciation to the District 9 Western CS staff for their outstanding support of the fall 2021 E-Train, Scott Gensmer and Jen Austin. No other changes.
Thank you, and I'll second that. They were super. DSO nav systems, Brian Hinckley.
I just want to add a special thank you to my ADSOs, Joe Spalding and Steve Boyer. We completed 450 paytons, which is a record for this year, or for all of our years. And I just want to, and Mike Scott, everybody, I just wanted to say a special thank you to all the aid verifiers.
So noted. DSO operations, Russell Hoganson. We'll go on. DSO public affairs, Shelley Markle.
My report didn't make it in with the agenda, so I'll be sure it's posted to the OneDrive this weekend.
I am so sorry. Thank you.
No, it's not your fault. It's mine.
DSO publications, John Sarin.
Yes, I just have a few additions here. We just received the last article for the Q3 currents yesterday. So hopefully, keep an eye out in the next few weeks for that issue. I am accepting articles for Q4. Please continue to find and send me those great stories. And again, thank you all for all of your support and sending me great things happening from around the district in the last 2 years. Just one other thing that I forgot to mention in my report is that there's been a big uptick in national coverage of our district due to a lot of the efforts of the PA folks in our district, and both on social media. There was a photo of Shelley Markle that won photo of the month in the PA directorate, and then also on the publications front. You might have seen articles by Kevin Osgood and Tim Derry in the Q2 NavX that came out a few months ago. And keep an eye out for the next issues of NavX and Navigator, and you will likely see more coverage of District 9th Western region. Thank you.
Thank you, John. DSO Public Education, Dennis Kellner. We'll continue. DSO Partner Visits, Jim Bennison.
Nothing to change, ma'am.
Thank you. And myself, I have nothing to change either. Back to you, Commodore. I believe I called everyone.
Thank you very much, Pam.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no old business today. And I have one item of new business, which I will present and talk a little bit about, and then I'll be entertaining a motion. Now, the board has received advanced copies of this proposal for a while now. We've kind of socialized it with the XCOM, and then I look for feedback from the board. Effectively, what we're trying to do here with the standing rules is build them out a little bit to the point where all of the important policies and procedures associated with our specific district are captured. And when I say captured, I mean, when you look around and you say, okay, what are the financial policies? What are the operational policies? What things are routine and expected to happen within 9th Western? Well, there really isn't a good place to capture all that. When you look at the rules that we operate under as an auxiliary, we have the auxiliary manual and we have the standing rules. And that's really it. Those are the two documents that have the if I can use the word teeth, that says that thou, whenever you see the word shall, thou shall do something, you refer to those two documents. Now, in the standing rules, in Article 10, and Article 10.1 reads this way: the specific details of district financial matters and policies. And then it goes on to give you a plethora of examples, everything from, how much the dues cost and when do you bill for dues, all that kind of policy and procedure is what I call it. But they don't tell you, they don't limit it. I mean, it's literally up to us to decide, what is considered a financial matter and policy of the district. But this goes on to say, these shall be established in an appendix to these rules, which shall be in conformity with the manual. Okay, so if you look at our district, and we've been around for a while, and we've made a lot of decisions when it comes to financial matters. Worked with Todd very closely on trying to gather up, what is the state of policy and procedure for various things. Well, lo and behold, there's documents all over the place. Some of them are in board meeting minutes. Some of them are not. Some of them are traceable to votes. Some are not. Some records are scattered all over the place. And at one time, years ago, we used to have a financial committee, and they made decisions or theoretically proposed policy decisions to the board, in which case the board would have taken up votes on those kinds of matters. Well, some things are traceable to board votes, some are not. And what Todd and I tried to do then was to gather up whatever we knew to be a policy or a procedure or something that is the way we do business here in Ninth Western, and put it into an appendix. And because Article 10 allows us to create such an appendix, we thought now is the time to do this, because it becomes a one-stop shop for all of the critical information that defines how we operate financially. What is financial controllership, and what does that mean to Ninth Western? So I sent that out some months ago. I got some feedback. We made a few changes here and there. And then what you see today that's been posted in the OneDrive folder is the result of discussions and kind of some give and take and feedback on what our financial matters and policies really are. Now, the advantage of putting them in the appendix is that they cannot be changed without a rule or decision of the board. In other words, no committee, no individual officer, even myself can change these things without bringing changes to the board, because they would affect that appendix. So anytime we want to change something, that appendix gets voted upon. And going forward, I'm looking to the future now. Okay, right now, what you see in that appendix is everything that Todd and I were able to collect and categorize and organize so that it's readable and understandable. So I hope everyone has had a chance to absorb that information. I hope you all understand the importance of it. And really what we're trying to do today is we're not trying to change anything. We're just simply trying to capture it and put it in give it a new home that's under control. So, I'm all about financial controllership. And I'm sure you guys are aware, we've had problems, not so much in this district, but elsewhere in the auxiliary, where things weren't done according to the rules. And people tend to get in trouble for that. So one of the things I want to accomplish on my tour as Commodore is to get a handle around our financial policies. And that's what this is all about. Now, in order to create a new appendix and attach them to the standing rules of District 9W, we need a 2/3 majority of you guys voting today to pass this. Okay, so we don't necessarily need unanimous, but we do need 2/3. So if we don't get 2/3, then we're kind of going back to the drawing board. But I'm hopeful that everybody is on board at this point in time. So the first thing I'm going to do is entertain a motion that we adopt standing rules appendix 4 as proposed and posted to our district OneDrive.
I'll make a motion or second.
Okay, I heard Peter, and was there a second?
I second it.
Craig. Okay, fantastic. So we have it's been moved and seconded that we adopt appendix 4 Now, let's open that up to discussion. Does anybody have any concerns, questions, or things that they just want to understand more about this?
Hey, Harvey, Tom here.
Hey, Tom.
Quick question. So if we want to make a change, you'd have to call, and it's not at a time of a D train, you'd have to call a special meeting of the board, correct?
Well, not necessarily. It depends on the urgency of the change. If somebody needs to make an urgent change, I can always call a special meeting of the board.
Okay, and that can still be voted on via Zoom, so they're not going to be in person?
Correct. Absolutely. It does not have to be in person, because effectively what we're doing today is an electronic meeting. And I think we are authorized by the other appendices in the standing rules to have and hold electronic meetings.
At all times?
At any time, right?
That's my question's answered. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Other discussion? Okay. Hearing none, I will call for the question. And again, using the best practice of nays only. Is anybody opposed to adding, opposed to this motion? Signify by saying nay. I hear none. Therefore, by default, this motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate that.
Commodore, it's J.R. Pulik. If I can bring up just one thing.
Go right ahead, J.R.
Just real quickly, you raised a really important point here, and that is that in speaking of a larger system of records, I think it's important going forward, not just historically, but also from a legal perspective, and I'm sure the SOLP can attest to this. Any of our documents are FOIA-able, so to speak, and things of that nature. And we don't seem in the auxiliary, I'm not just talking about our district or divisions, but in the auxiliary to have any really good system of records. Although by federal law, the Coast Guard does or should and does, and in fact have people designated as system records officers. And I'm sure that there are some of those people on the gold side who would be more than happy to work with us to develop such a system of records. But I think there needs to be a better repository of these things. We're all using personal email addresses and things of that nature. And I know it's probably a Herculean task to ask the Coast Guard to kind of set up an email system for the auxiliary. But going forward with legal matters as they are and official things going on, as you know, even just in my division, right, we've had kind of a couple of official matters going on recently. To have those things on person's Gmail accounts and personal accounts is not good, to say the least. So I think going forward, not to belabor this point, we really need to be looking at, and maybe we should be on the forefront of pushing the auxiliary towards a better system of records. And that's all I have, sir.
Harvey, if I can jump in there for a second.
Go right ahead.
JR, just so you know, you're never going to get a email system for the entire auxiliary. Managing just the membership alone by each individual Xerox office is enough to go crazy. If you're a national staff person, you'll be getting an email. If you're a national elected officer, you'll get an email. cgox.net. Harvey found he already built one for himself in Outlook. And all of a sudden, oops, I'm now on a board. I got a Coast Guard auxiliary email. But it's only at that level. I got 3 emails I'm juggling at the time between my job, my fire department, and this. So I got 3 I'm playing with. But you're not going to see, like I said, a mandate that says here, everybody has to have a Coast Guard auxiliary email system. The hard part would be the managing part. Setting up once is no problem. Just keeping it going is going to be a nightmare. That's all I got, Harvey. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw out one more thing, and to JR's point, not related to email, but related to record keeping and record retention. And if I may, I'm going to ask Pam. I'm going to put Pam on the spot because she is now part of a focus group, if I can use that word.
Correct.
That's coming from national, and these are all the records officers getting together talking about these kinds of issues because they are very much widespread across the auxiliary. And JR, you're right on. I mean, we have big concerns, both legal as well as administrative, on how we're managing our records. So Pam, please, if you could just give a quick update on what you guys are doing at National.
We are trying to consolidate the different divisions, districts, even some flotillas, the way they manage records. And JR, you are so spot on and timely with bringing this up. I was actually just talking to Harvey this morning about how to save the records and whether they should be saved electronically, in paper, and so on. As Tom said, a national program probably will not occur because we have such autonomy within each district. But each district can probably establish what it feels are necessary and how they would like to store them, as well as when they would like to distribute them or who they would like to give access to. I'm sorry for leaving it that open, but so far that's what we've arrived at.
And let me say this. This is the first effort that I've ever heard of since my time in the auxiliary, where at the national level, we are tackling this issue of record keeping and records officers and what their jobs look like and what they're to do and how they manage. And to Pam's point, there may not be a national policy for this, but there's certainly the potential for sharing best practices among the 16 districts. And Pam represents us very nicely to that group. And they are, again, they're focused, they're making progress, not perhaps as fast as we would like, but I do have the hopes that some good things are going to come out of that to address this issue in the future. So Pam will keep us posted.
Commodore, this is DSOLP. If you don't mind, I'd like to interject since the bulk of those records affect my job.
Yes, right ahead.
So, most nonprofit organizations have a records management policy. There's nothing preventing our district right now to create a records management policy that delineates things such as how long we're going to retain it, where it's going to be retained, and when and or if it's ever going to be destroyed. We can definitely do that. All we need to do is appoint somebody that would handle that method. It's probably a joint effort between finance, legal, and whoever's the secretary of the organization from a association standpoint. And then you can vote on it as a board matter. And at that point, we can take care of it. Personally, from my perspective, I've got 8 boxes of records that are sitting in my office. So if somebody wants to manage those boxes, just tell me the address and I'll send them to you. So you're welcome to do that. And those are paper records. But I guess another broader concern I would have is anything that's confidential or privileged, particularly in disciplinary matters, that needs to be handled with I guess the term I would use is due care. They may need to be encrypted records. They may need to be in a locked and more secure environment than we keep. Things such as the medical records and records that we keep for things for pandemic and members because of HIPAA issues. We may need to store that in a separate place and have that encrypted too as well. So there's a lot of things that would need to go into that policy before we're going to make a change to that. I don't think that having a separate email system is enough. It is not. If you choose to do it all electronically, we need to find a safe and secure place that can encrypt those records and also provide universal access to everybody that's in the district. That would be a very hard and management task to do.
Very good.
Harvey, this is Scott. May kind of leverage on what Steve said and what Captain Montoro was talking about is maybe there's a way of leveraging some of the Coast Guard cybersecurity on maybe getting some advice on what kind of secure platforms we could use. I would imagine most of those guys have had to deal with this and at some or other, maybe there's some way of, getting some assistance from that side.
Absolutely. I personally feel that this whole subject matter is in its infancy. And right now, I would like to just see best practices shared, not only from national and the other districts, but to your point, Scott, from the gold side as well. Ultimately, I'm with Steve. We should eventually settle on our own policy here in Ninth Western for how we manage our records. There's no indication that we should wait for national to come out with something and have it apply to everybody, because as Pam said, that's not in the cards. So, within our own ranks, we should be thinking about, how to manage, and let's get some proposals. Let's get some ideas out on the table. Let's kick them around. And the ideas turn into proposals, and proposals turn into policy. And we have the means to do that right here. So absolutely. I think this is a great topic. We're going to hear more about it in the future.
This is Todd Nitz speaking. You're aware we do have a records retention policy, right?
Where is it documented?
Tom created it. I've got a copy. As far as where you guys, where it went, I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we
Tom put
did
it
make
all
one. It was voted on in the beginning of 2020.
Okay, so there should be, if there was a vote taken, then it is policy, and therefore we should be abiding by it. Now, here's the next question. Where is that policy documented? This kind of comes right back to why we did Appendix 4. I mean, this is a classic segue, and it supports the fact that we do this all the time. We vote on things, we accept it, we put them in the minutes get stored somewhere. There's no telling when it was voted, where to find it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we will be able to put our finger on it. Very, very doubtful, right? And that's the reason why we put all of our financial matters and policies into Appendix 4. Maybe we need another appendix.
Well, I'll email that to you, Harvey.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's recent enough, Tom, that I'm sure I've already got it. But this is a great example of how we need to operate going forward. These kinds of things aren't well known, and once we take a vote, stick it in the minutes, they get forgotten about, and there's no coming back to that. So things are very easily lost without a central repository, and that's why we did what we did today with the financial matters. I think we can do the same going forward with any other kind of Ninth Western policy that we want to put together and vote on as a board. That's certainly possible.
Commodores and also DSOFN. Todd, can you send that policy to me too as well? Who's our records custodian? Who manages records for us currently?
I have 2 boxes that only include minutes. I've gone through every single thing in there as of probably this month, correct, Commodore?
And Pam, I appreciate that, but again, the question is more pointed. Who's our records custodian?
Well, if you ask me that question, the first thing I'm going to do is look at my staff, and the district staff officer for secretary/records, in my mind, is the custodian of all relevant records to the district. Now, Pam just told you that the only records she keeps are minutes of meetings. And is that enough? Should we be expanding that position, that role? I don't know. Are there other records that other officers have? I'm sure there are. And where should those go? To your point, you've got boxes sitting in your office. I've got a few in my office. And I'm sure we all have that. But this is where our policy comes back into play.
Right. And I guess my point is this is so depending on Commodore's what comes back from that policy, the person who is appointed records custodian could be Pam, could be somebody else.
It could be an ADSO
right,
that reports to Pam.
So we need to look at that to make sure there's not a discrepancy in that too as well.
You bet.
Couldn't we just create a document on the OneDrive that is a policy manual, and anytime a policy is made, that it gets added to that document?
Well,
Brilliant idea, Ted. Brilliant. I looked at a policy the other day from John. That was a really brilliant policy on communications. Things like that, where we have drafts versus final approves. That's the kind of thing we need to eventually get to. I mean, that's just my opinion, Commodore.
we do. But the thing that concerns me about that is proliferation of documents, okay, and controls over those documents. Right now, we have two guiding documents that we must abide by. Absolutely no questions. One is the auxiliary manual and the other is the standing rules. And beyond that, I get a little bit nervous about how much teeth any other documents might have and whether or not we can manage them effectively going forward. So you and I, Steve, need to talk a little bit and maybe even pull in Commodore Cream, because I think that's something that's, I don't deny that we need something, and maybe a policy manual is another way of doing it. We should probably also look around and see what the other districts are doing. Same type of thing. Again, I'm a believer in benchmarking and best practice sharing. So let's take that one offline, Steve, you and I, and we'll start to socialize where we need to go with this whole concept of records and policies.
Commodore J.R. Cook, just one last comment. I apologize if I hijacked your thread here.
That's okay.
And I just wanted to thank Pam and everyone for their input and updates. And I would just reiterate the fact that it's not just about having a central repository for policies online. This is about, and I just strongly refer everyone to the Coast Guard's definition of what system of records is and what it entails. This is a very, very kind of official meaning for that phrase. That's all I have, but thank you all for your updates and insights.
Okay, thank you, JR, and the rest of you guys. That was great discussion. It does point out a need that we have and that we need to address going forward. At this point, we have, we're closing in on the hour. I'm going to allow closing remarks because we seem to have made up a little bit of time. And my remark is going to be short and sweet. Thank you to all of you for everything you're doing in your roles, whether you be appointed, whether you be elected. We couldn't do what we're doing without you. I want to thank the committee who has put together this E-Train, which is going very well. We've had it is a big success. And I appreciate all of the behind the scenes, behind the curtains, technical support, the instructors. I can't say enough about the instructors. They do a fantastic job for us. And I truly believe we have some of the best member training in the Coast Guard Auxiliary today. So thank you all. We have another session coming up this afternoon. I want to remind you guys about the DIROC's panel discussion, which starts in about a half an hour. So we can't go over today. So let's go around the table and just get some final closing remarks in the next couple of minutes. So Pam, if you would like to orchestrate that, I'd appreciate it.
I'm sorry, you got muted at the very last sentence.
Oh.
What would you like me to orchestrate, sir?
We're going to go for closing remarks. Just check with the board and see if anybody has any. And we got to get it done in the next 7 or 8 minutes.
Understood. You have already given us your remarks, sir, correct?
Yes.
Chief of Staff, Sonny Thatch, any remarks?
Yes, just very briefly, I just want to place a reminder out there that division commanders are free to contact the DSOs for support as district board members. So if you need assistance, please reach out to the district staff officers. If you need me to facilitate discussions, I'm more than happy to do so. But I just want to make sure that the DCDRs know that that line of communication is open. Thank you.
Thank you. District 95 immediate past Commodore and Deputy National Commodore for Atlantic West, Tom Mullally, any final remarks?
Nope, just Harvey, check your email. You got the retention policy in it.
Roger that. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. District 95, DCAP East, Rob Kumpf.
I just want to say thanks to everybody who came in and everybody who set this thing up. And it was really nice to hear and or see everybody again. And hopefully next time we get to do it in person.
I think we all wish that. Thank you. District 95, Captain South, Tim Derry.
I would just like to thank Commodores and also Chief of Staff Thatch for their support in the past year. It has been a pleasure working with you, and I have always said previously Commodore Mullally and now also Commodore Randall are sleeves rolled up, get her done people, and I think that we have gotten a lot done because of their being that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. District 95, Captain West, Peter Kubinski.
Thank you. I'd like to just call attention to one of the big problems we have in our district, and that is the health of our individual flotillas and the possible disestablishment of many flotillas. I'm very hopeful that this coming session with DROX will help to help us navigate through these trying times, because this is a big problem and it's got to be addressed for the health of our whole organization, because I think we are at a crisis point in terms of dissolution of many flotillas. So I look forward to that meeting at 12:15. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Division 31 Vice Commander Dan Grenendike.
I have no comments. It's been great to listen in and participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Division 33 Commander Jen Austin.
You got it right, Pam.
This time I did.
No, just wanted to extend my gratitude to all the hard work that everyone in the division's doing, and also extend my gratitude to our active duty counterparts, our DIROC support team, and the national staff who showed up today and continue to support our unit. So thank you, everyone, for what you're doing.
So noted. Division 35 Commander J.R. Kulik.
Nothing further, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Division 37 Commander Craig Feldy. He may have stepped away. Division 39 Commander Sean Landa.
I just wanted to say thank you for all of you for making it through another difficult year, and look forward to more operations, public affairs, and just getting back to more normal general mission next year. Thank you.
So noted. Division 41 Commander Tim Cooper.
I'd just like to thank everybody for the great discussions that went on this morning and the information. I think our last couple discussions regarding the Commodore's initiative to set financial policies as part of the standing rules is a very good idea. And I think the discussion regarding record storage is something that all of us need to look at a little bit closer. Thank you very much.
So noted. Division 45 Commander David Rappy.
Nothing further, thank you.
I'm sorry. Did I call Division 43 Commander Tom Matt?
No, but I have nothing more to add. Thank you.
I am so sorry. Forgive me. I was so proud that I called Jen's division right that I just passed right by you. Oh, well. Division 45, we got you and you have nothing to add. Thank you. Division 47 Commander William Meehee.
Yes, good morning again. I would just like to concur with DCAP Gopinski's comments on the situations we experience with the unhealthy flotillas, flotillas that are essentially inactive or under strength, and look forward to those types of issues being addressed here going forward. Thank you.
The board has been polled and they have made their comments, sir.
Thank you very much, Pam. Now, we have about 5 minutes left, and I think that's probably insufficient time to go around the staff. But I see that the Dyrox team is still on the call, so maybe we could just check with Commander and Ralph if they have any last minute remarks.
Thank you, Commodore. It's Ralph. I do not have anything. I look forward to seeing everybody in a little while, and it was nice to sit here and kind of listen and hear what's going on out there in Western region. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming, Ralph.
You betcha.
Hi, Como. I don't have anything. I'm going to introduce myself during the question and answer, but I'd like to just thank you all for your work and your volunteer efforts. You guys mean a lot to the Coast Guard, and you're a huge force multiplier overall. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome, sir. So that takes us to the end of the sessions. And at this point, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We stand adjourned, folks. Thank you again. And don't forget to log in to the Dyrox panel discussion coming up in about 20 minutes, I think. Have a great day.
Como, is that a different